You're listening to the soon-to-be-named network, the Lamborghini of podcast networks. FWP's so good I listen weekly. Welcome to Final Wrestling Place.
I'm Tim.
Oh, I'm still Marcus.
And welcome back to another edition of Final Wrestling Place, episode number 277. Only because I remembered to make the graphic before the show, so I know the number. But thank you for joining us. However you join us, whether it's on Spotify, YouTube, your podcatcher of choice, or soon-to-be-named network.tumblr.com. We are glad you are with us. Be sure to share it around, let everybody know. We're on social media at tmshows on Twitter and Blue Sky, Final Wrestling Place on Instagram. But Marcus, how are you doing?
I'm good. Social battery is still running at like 50% after the weekend. We had a nice weekend together.
Yes.
As in the family, but social settings just kind of take it out of me. So it was good to recharge with you and watch A-Dub Full Gear. Did my soul a lot of good, especially after my work week. Nobody cares about work stuff, but
no.
I had a tough one. So
yeah, it's
correction. It wasn't that tough. Other people had a tough week because they tried to make me have a tough week.
Yeah, you just got to stiff arm the guys, get them out of here, and send them on their way.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was nice. It was nice being up in the upper room with you, watching, making the haul up the 2 flights of stairs up to the fun room in the house to watch all the stuff. You know, it was worth the travel. Getting up the stairs, getting into the big couch, snuggling in. It was good times. And good food, good fun, good fellowship. Good to see your side of the family and pressing flesh and eating good, delicious, assorted meats. It's always a plus for me.
Are you going to have any more turkey this Thanksgiving season, or is that your one Thanksgiving meal?
I got a second Thanksgiving on Thursday, baby.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and luckily, so we're traveling to our roommate's family's house. And they're like, our roommate is like my wife's sister, practically. They're related like you and me are related.
Sister Wife Jones over here.
Sister Wife Jones, yeah. So she's headed up. She lives out like her family's like right outside of like DC, Annapolis, like 20 minutes from that area. So, we got the tag to go and do it, and since my wife's mom is how to say this delicately, doesn't celebrate holidays. I'll let you take that however you want to take it. Her and Michael Jackson have a lot in common. Or at least the Jackson family. So since there's no formal family Thanksgiving on the fourth Thursday of November, but there might be on the second Saturday in January, but you're not going to call it Thanksgiving. You're just going to call it Super Happy Hangout Time. So we're dropping the little doggy off with Megan's mom, and we're hitting the rocket ship up. And what's great is that they do Thanksgiving at like lunchtime.
Mm-hmm.
That's perfect for me. Thanksgiving dinner is not dinner. Thanksgiving dinner starts between noon and 2.
Yeah.
So that way you can eat, you can get your leftovers, you can nap, travel home, and for dinner, if you have enough leftovers, then you get the leftover Thanksgiving meal, which is almost always better than the first time around. For me,
Yeah, back before I set the boundary of not leaving the house on holidays, the standard for me always was I should have a plate in my hands by the end of halftime of the first football game.
There you go. That'll do it. That'll do it.
So that's, to me, that's always the watermark moment for when to eat. But all right, enough Thanksgiving food talk. You want to do blind rankings?
I am down. Oh, look at you trying to just speed this John up. Like, I know I just talked about my social battery being low, and I love talking to you, but I got stuff to do, and this is too social even for me. Let's speed this puppy up.
It's banter. It may not be my strength. So as soon as I run out of something to talk about, it's got to get on to the next thing.
Yeah, I know.
Got to get out of banter as soon as possible.
Yeah, it's fine. That's fine. But if it's your first time listening to us, at the start of every show, we do a blind ranking where both of us come to the table with topics of 5 options each, and we pitch that. We've never seen these before in our lives, right, Marcus?
Never, ever, ever.
So he gives me a prompt, I give him a prompt. We rank them 1 to 5, and then you all, whether it's on social media or in the Soon to Be Named Network Discord in the tmshows channel, you read us the riot act of what we did wrong or what we did right. So, Marcus, you're still a giver, right?
You know me, baby.
All right, well, I'm going to lay here and take it, and you give me my 1 to 5 blind rankings for
Mr. Tim, Wrestling Cowboys.
Yeehaw!
All right. Now the strength of the ranking is totally up to you.
Gotcha.
How they fit the definition of the cowboy, on their wrestling ability, titles, whatever you want to do. It's up to you. But I'm going to give you 5 wrestling cowboy acts for you to rank.
Sure.
First one out of the gate is Cowboy James Storm with Jackie.
Oh man, that's tough. See, to me, James Storm is the modern day cowboy. There's probably another person on your list that is maybe grabbed a bunch of they may have grabbed some inspiration from the Tennessee Cowboy, maybe early in their run. I think Tennessee Cowboy is a good middle ground cowboy. I think he's a bar. He's the pardon the pun, but he's the bar.
Okay.
That the Cowboys get ranked against. If you're better than him, you're an exemplary wrestling cowboy. If you're under him, maybe you're just a cowboy by name or cowboy by look.
All right. So number 3 to start out. Next up for you. The new Blackjacks ride again. The new Blackjacks.
So both of them together.
Blackjack Bradshaw, Blackjack Wyndham.
Okay.
The new Blackjacks.
For me, because I know that Barry Windham is one of them, and Barry Windham is no cowboy. Like, you wear cowboy boots, but that just means you're from Texas.
Yeah, if there's like a glamour version of cowboy that feels like Barry Windham. Like, I'm sure he could like break a horse or something, or
he can rope some steer, you know what I mean? But like, he's not a cowboy.
Oh.
He's not an old cowboy. He's not a modern cowboy. He's more like you know what he is? He's the Marlboro Man.
Mm-hmm.
He looks the part. He stands. He's tall and stoic. And like, he's like a fighting cowboy, but he's not like a cowboy. The new Blackjacks, unfortunately, are going at 4.
Okay.
I don't think they're the worst on your list.
Remains to be seen. Next up for you. Jeff Jarrett.
See, this is going to be wild. I think he might be the worst cowboy.
Okay.
Because he's not a cowboy.
Not a cowboy.
He's just a Southern boy.
World's greatest singer.
World's greatest entertainer. He's doing Opry stuff. But that run of Jeff Jarrett is also super small. Like, he is a rhinestone cowboy. That's what he is. And that ain't no cowboy. So, if we're basing it on the literal definition of cowboy, I'm taking Jeff Jarrett under the Tennessee Cowboy, James Storm, and technically under the Blackjacks, because I think the Blackjacks would bully Jeff Jarrett out of a bar. And then Jeff, as being a rhinestone cowboy, would have to pay his way back in to the bar with like a couple of rounds of drinks. And then maybe they all get drunk enough and they all do some karaoke.
And Jeff Jarrett hits somebody with the El Kabong.
Like the Blackjacks start a fight after they had already jumped Jeff Jarrett out and he paid his way back in. And now Jeff gets in the good graces of the Blackjacks because he comes and he's the equalizer using his bar stool as an El Kabong, smacking somebody across the blades with a bar stool. Yeah, but 5. Sadly, low for Jeff as a cowboy.
All right. Next up for you, the Ace, Cowboy Bob Orton.
See, now I want Tennessee Cowboy James Storm to move up. Because the Ace Cowboy ain't a cowboy. He's got a hat. At least he's got a cowboy hat. But, like, name how many cowboys do you know believe in modern medicine that requires a cast? I ain't never seen no actual cowboy, like, have a doctor's note, a prescription, a cast. Like, their prescription is the jug over there with 3 X's marked on it. And some people are like, oh, that's poison. It's like, no, that's my medicine. So by proxy, go ahead.
1 or 2.
I know. I feel like I can't put your last guy at 1. That's my fear. So, in spite of everything I just said about modern medicine, the Ace Cowboy is 1. And now I'm slowly realizing that James Storm is number 1.
Well, your de facto number 2 on the list is the West Texas Rednecks.
See, I've messed this one entirely up. How are they 2?
Tough one. Not your best work, but that's all right.
It's okay. I'm not big focused. I'm also a little pissed that you, on a day like today, make me rank Cowboys.
Oh, not a shot.
You're a jerk, is what shot. You are.
I was expecting y'all to win by 30. Sorry.
The offs are off, dude. That's okay. I'm going to be a real jerk. So. I need you to rank these wrestling bills. No, I don't have that. No, I'm going an easy route. We've been big on squads lately. Like we linked up with our squad earlier this weekend. Soon to be named Network North hooked up their squad and went out to the Dynamite and to the Pape. So I need you to rank these 5 wrestling stables.
Oh, all right.
Yes, sir. And we will start with, first of all, whichever version of these stables you want to go with. I'll let you even have some variability, right?
Okay.
D-Generation X.
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say 4.
Okay. All right. The only modern day example I have in this list, a group we'll probably talk about a little bit later today. Let's talk about the Death Riders.
Oh, okay. It's tough to grade them because they get it incomplete, because in my head, what I'm basing these tables off of is what was your mission statement and were you able to like accomplish it and hold up your mission statement. So the Death Riders are trying to recreate AEW in John Moxley's image.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, they've got a stranglehold on the title. We haven't seen the title for a couple months now. They've been crashing Dynamite. They've been taking over the Superstation. They've been colliding. I'm going to put the Death Riders at 3.
Okay. All right. Next up is, again, these are whatever version of the version of the stable you want to go with. The New World Order of Wrestling.
So I don't ding the NWO like a lot of people do for having too many members, because I think the NWO was its own promotion within a promotion. And if you were trying to be a promotion, you can't have 8 dudes on your roster. Like, you need more. And if you're going to fight a company that has 60 other wrestlers under contract, you need numbers. So I don't punish them for having VK Wall Street in the NWO. Like,
Right.
You need bottom feeders. I mean, Hogan kept the title for most of the time the NWO was around. I mean, they jump people out of the group, welcome people back into the group. Cool t-shirts. We get the Wolf Pack. I'm going to go NWO number 1.
Boy, howdy. All right. You may have been talking to Mr. Rossi, sitting here saying that you can't have a roster with 8 people. And he's like, look at Marigold. Ain't nobody on that roster except for the Bozilla. 2 options left, 2 and 5. Let's see how you do the mental gymnastics on this.
Okay.
Give me the foil to the NWO, the 4 Horsemen.
So obviously held in high regard.
Yes.
Kind of the Sunday school answer for best stable of all time.
What's your favorite book?
The Bible.
That's right.
Who's your best friend?
Jesus.
God. And Jesus. They kept the title and flavor.
Nobody picks the Holy Spirit as their best friend.
No, you always get shut out.
That's right.
I'm gonna say, now before anybody gets mad at me,
All right, see where this is going. Let me put it
the
down.
4 horsemen that I grew up with. I'm not even talking about the Paul Roma version, which I like. I'm talking about the 4 horsemen where Chris Benoit was getting 10v1 on Nitro every week by the Dungeon of Doom. And like
Sullivan.
once in a while, maybe Arn Anderson would come out. Maybe Mongo and Jarrett would come out every once in a while. But most of the time, they just weren't like really cohesive. So I'm going to go 5.
Okay. That means your number 2 stable of all time is a modern day version of the Four Horsemen, Evolution.
All right. Yes. Yes. All right. Yes. I love Evolution.
I know
I
you
really
do.
do.
I do too.
That's not me being a WWE baby, or because I grew up when Evolution was running things on Raw, or notorious SmackDown group Evolution that was having their reunion on SmackDown 1000 or whatever.
That's right. Don't you forget it.
I think Evolution is like
a mystery,
the most effective stable of all time. For me, a stable, I need 4 or more.
That's why I did not include the Shield for anybody.
Yeah. I mean, they kept the belt on Triple H. I mean, was it entertaining? Triple H being champion? No, but I feel like a lot of that reign of terror was like worse before Evolution. And like once Evolution was together, it was like, okay, well now it makes sense like why this dude keeps winning. But like Ric Flair, it breathed life into him. It was cool to see Ric Flair in like this manager role, but sometimes he'd also slide into tags. It could be an active manager. And then the Diamond, Randy Orton, one of my favorites all time.
Yeah.
And the Animal, Dave Bautista, also one of my favorites of all time. So, very effective group. I'm glad it landed at 2.
Oh yeah. So you had the NWO, Evolution, the Death Riders, DX, and the Horsemen. That's your order.
All right.
And we don't need to talk about the order of the Cowboys because it's wrong. It's just all wrong. It's bad. I will accept all judgment. James Storm, absolutely number 1 on that list.
Jeff Jarrett at 5, New Blackjacks at 4, Oof. Cowboy James Storm, Bo Jackie at 3, West Texas Rednecks at 2, and Cowboy Bob Orton, my boy Randy, number 1.
If I had to do it all over again, it'd be James Storm 1, Jeff Jarrett 2, the New Blackjacks at 3, Cowboy Bob Orton at 4, and the West Texas Rednecks at 5. But I don't get a redo.
No redos?
No redos.
Live,
I effed it up real bad, Jack.
We did blind ring.
I did a bad. So, but yeah, we are good. That is all the blind rankings. So, Marcus, there was a pay-per-view this past weekend from the Prudential Center, The Rock, in Newark, New Jersey, in front of a capacity crowd of tens of thousands of folks, Full Gear. And in case you didn't watch it, we did, and it's time for us to give you the viewer's choice on AEW Full Gear. So, Marcus, do you have the spoiler-free card in front of you?
Oh, yes, I do.
Run it down for me, big dog.
Sure will. First, going to start with the pre-show / 0 hour. We had Deonna Purrazzo taking on Anna Jay. Dante Martin, Commander, the Beast Mortos, and Buddy Matthews competing in a 4-way match. And then the main event of the pre-show, maybe the main event of Full Gear, depending on who you ask. Big Boom AJ with Big Justice and the RIZZLER taking on QT Marshall. Then we start the show proper. I mean, how can you really follow that? But we have a 4-way tag match for the AEW World Tag Team Championship. Private Party defending against the Outrunners, Kings of the Black Throne, and the Acclaimed. Roderick Strong taking on MJF. For the AEW TBS Championship, Mercedes Moné taking on Chris Statlander. In a grudge match, Hangman Adam Page fought Jay White. We then had another grudge match as Kyle Fletcher took on Will Ospreay. For the AEW TNT Championship, Jack Perry looked to defend against Danny Garcia. Konose Takeshita, defended the AEW International Championship against Ricochet. Big Bob Lashley with MVP and Shelton Benjamin of the Hurt Syndicate, taking on Swerve Strickland with Prince Nana. And then the main event of the evening for the AEW World Championship, Jon Moxley defending against Orange Cassidy.
Heck yes. Of course, if this is your first time catching one of our viewers' choice, we give you must watches and must skips. And who the MVP of the evening was. Marcus, do you have something you want to start with?
Sure. I mean, for me, a must watch goes back to the pre-show. I thought Big Boom AJ taking on QT Marshall was perfect pro wrestling. It's exactly what I love. I think that these kind of things should be happening more often, not with great frequency, but maybe if this kind of thing happens twice a year, I think that would be good, especially for AEW. I think Big Boom AJ has just the right amount of training for a celebrity match where he has a history being a worker. So, you know, he can bump, as you said, he can pick somebody up and put them down safely. He knows how to execute a couple high-risk maneuvers that you wouldn't expect. But he's also just like far enough removed from competition where he looks completely blown up during and after the match, as one should. And so I appreciate the duality of man there. But I mean, the spear by Big Justice, the RIZZLER getting the Riz face. Oh man, yeah, I enjoyed it. I had fun. It made me feel good. And it seems like it's really good attention for AEW. I know for a lot of people, this wasn't for them, or the whole Costco guys thing isn't for them. I don't know. I like it.
Right.
I like it. And maybe I like it because I immediately got the gimmick of, yeah, this, you know, maybe he's being a good father and yada, yada, yada. And the kid gets to do something with his family. And they seem very big on that and family. And that's all great. But like, do I also see a dad that is looking to get his bag finally after spending, 20 years looking for the limelight in some sort of entertainment avenue, never really getting that moment as a wrestler? Yep, sure do. I get it. I see what he's doing. I respect it. Yeah, I like the Costco guys, man. It's wrestling. It's wrestling. They got catchphrases. They're expanding the family. They're expanding the characters that you see. Yeah, they got their gimmicks. The chicken bake, the double chunk chocolate cookie. I got it all. I like the Costco guys.
I need you to know right now that because I opened my phone up to this hate to show your consortium, the Costco guys, when I busted open my TikTok today, the first thing that popped up is Big Boom AJ and Big Justice's new song.
Oh, they got a new song.
They have now come out with a second version of Bringing the Boom.
Okay.
They're still bringing the boom.
All right. Well, this thing is officially on 3 wheels. A wheel has fallen off. If they're already remixing the big hit, not good for them. Maybe they need to step away from the songs and go back to Boom or Doom or the Boom scale. Get back to the double chunk chocolate cookies. Get back to the basics. Get back to the chicken bake. More RIZZLER. Less songs. They put a curse on Aaron Judge.
That's what I'm sitting here like, why are you so positive about
because he eventually
Costco
shook it
guys
off. But they put a Papa Shango-esque curse on Aaron Judge that sapped him of all of his power and contact for a good 3 weeks.
Is that what Big Boom AJ used to beat QT Marshall? He touched the Monstars basketball and sucked up all of Aaron Judge's talent and then converted it to in-ring action. Because my man kicked out of a diamond cutter.
Boom. Sure did.
Kicked out of a diamond cutter. That's ordained by DDP.
More people should kick out of the diamond cutter, if you ask me.
Poor man's RKO. Am I right?
You're right.
That's right. I actually enjoyed me. I enjoyed the heck out of myself watching this too, and that's tough to say because it also involves QT Marshall. I'll say this in its positivity. The top 3 most viewed wrestling videos of the year, I think, on TikTok. I don't know if it's TikTok or if it's YouTube. But 1 is Joe Hendry debuting in NXT.
Sure.
2 is The Undertaker showing up at WrestleMania 40. And 3 is Big Boom AJ versus QT Marshall.
And what I heard there was
10 million
AEW
views.
Wins again.
Yeah, 10 million views already on Big Boom AJ for AEW.
I love it.
And they threatened me. They threatened me in the press conference with more Big Boom AJ.
I wouldn't be mad at it. I'm not gonna lie.
I would be, but that's just me.
Not immediately, but maybe we check in around Revolution. We see how these guys are doing.
Just he doesn't need to be at every pape. He definitely doesn't need to be at Wrestle Dynasty.
Put him in the.
Oh my God! Can you imagine sending the Costco guys, sending all 3 of them to Japan? Big Boom AJ, Big Justice, and the RIZZLER showing up at the Tokyo Dome, and just watching the Japanese crowd react to this little short, chubby kid doing the RIZZLER face.
If we send the RIZZLER over, I almost call him the Riz. If we send the RIZZLER over to Japan, he's not coming back. That man will be gotted in Japan.
We saw what they did to Bob Sapp. The RIZZLER over there going to be selling prune candies. He could be selling everything. He's going to be doing Boom or Doom for yeah, man, vending machines in Tokyo. That's what's up.
Since this is an audio podcast for now, if it was visual, you would be seeing no less than about 152 Riz faces between the 2 of us.
I look like an older RIZZLER. I think if the RIZZLER grew up and got facial hair and stopped caring about his hair, he'd look like me.
RIZZLER of Costco Future.
Yeah, I'm the future RIZZLER. Just had this chain smoke voice. You need to stop eating your double chunk chocolate cookies, RIZZLER. I'm Curtis Iakea of the Dungeon of Doom, and he is Sullivan, my son. He's the white striped Bengal tiger. And but yeah, man, I thought that match was fun, super exciting. Other than the fact that they took 4 minutes immediately off their match time because Big Justice and Big Boom AJ were collecting Social Security numbers from everybody in the front row. They gotta
get over with the crowd, man.
Gotta get over. That's right. Gotta get over with the crowd. Gotta sign everybody up for the mailing list. It's important. It's a big feat, and you have to do it. I'm gonna go with something else that's must watch for me, and that is that young Hangman Adam Page and that sneaky King Switchblade Jay White. They did it again. They made it work. Jay White he's high on my list right now. if I were Booker T building a Fave 5 man of AEW wrestlers, Jay White is number 5 right now. Hangman's also on that list, but I love what Jay White's doing right now in AEW. They have not missed between the two of them, Hangman and Switch. They are killing the game, especially against one another. It was good continuity seeing them kind of go and run that back at the end of the night too, which I'm sure we'll talk about in great detail. But yeah, for me, man, it's a great must-watch match. One of the highlights of the night. You might be able to say there was actually like formal match of the night proper. Like it's on that list. I think there's a couple maybe that could give it a run for its money. But for me and mine, I'm taking the Switchblade and the Hangman. And I've also come to the realization they kept showing all these pictures and videos of clean shaven Jay White. Clean shaven Jay White is the knife pervert. That's the knife pervert. Okay. This guy is a jam up guy. The Switchblade we have now. So I don't know what everybody else is thinking, but for me, Jay White's it, and this match rocked.
Yeah, I co-sign with you. I absolutely love this match. I loved their match at the last pay-per-view. I love this one just as much. Maybe it's because I'm like thirsty for like really good pro wrestling, and it's because I've been watching like Bret Hart versus Steve Austin from Survivor Series 96 a lot, and it's like that's just a great wrestling match. And it's like the kind of wrestling match that we don't get to see too often these days. And I feel like these guys, like, the build has been relatively simple. It's been realistic. It all goes back to, like, wanting to be the best, like, wanting to be champion. So, yeah, man, I love it. I love it. I love that, like, Jay White is this counter wrestler, and, like, they're really leaning into that, especially on the pay-per-view matches. And, like, he'll kind of take damage and absorb damage, and because of the tremendous shape he's in, like, he's built to withstand that kind of punishment. And it's just a matter of like him finally catching you, and once he can catch you, he can mount the momentum and string the moves together to beat you. Or he's got the finish, you know, he can Blade Runner. Is that what he calls it?
Blade Runner.
Did I make that up?
Nope.
He catches you with that, you're done.
And I like that. I loved the finish of the match. Like, the adrenaline's running hot. Hangman smells blood in the water. And, like, you see this in, like, real combat sports, right? One fighter gets super aggressive because they think they've got the other guy on the ropes. And the other guy is just good enough that when the person lets their guard down to bring the offensive, they sneak their shot in. And it is the kill shot, and you are down. And that's exactly what Switch did to Hangman. That Blade Runner try to do the Blade Runner out of the buckshot, and then like Blade Runner again out of like the ankle lock. I think it was what it was. Or maybe a second Deadeye. I don't know. But either way, man, he gripped it and ripped it and sent it. And Bray Wyatt and Uncle Howdy wish they were doing that move as good as Jay White. Because when Jay does it, it's snappy, it's clean, it's smooth.
Yeah, it's less of a cutter and it's more of like a DDT. Like I buy it more as like a knockout.
It's a big face planter. It's like just sending it.
Yeah. All right. So I agree with you on that. I'm gonna go with a must skip, and I'm going to give it to Danny Garcia and Jack Perry.
Yep.
I'm not going to say a moment that needed to happen, because I think he's going to have more I don't think this moment is going to crack like the top 3 moments when I think of moments for Danny Garcia. Like, this isn't going to register with me even right now. And, his relatively young career in AEW. This match, I'm looking at this match time. I can't believe it got as long as it did. 18:25, bell to bell. To put that into context, the main event went 19:20. The match right before it went 24:15. This card needed, and this isn't these guys' fault, but also wrestlers, I think you should be able to kind of look at the card, and when you're given an idea, yes, you do have the confidence in your abilities to pull it off. But when you look at a card of 12 matches, including the pre-show, what makes you stand out from everything else?
Right.
And I think somebody, whether it was an agent or the guys in the match, somebody should have said, we got potential to get lost in the shuffle here, especially following who we're following and with what's to come after us. We need something different. There is no match on this show that burned bright. And with the build, I think it makes total sense if Danny Garcia would have wrapped this thing up in 90 seconds. They did a kidnapping angle. They've done backstage bullying angles. We've seen Jack Perry get lunch moneyed.
Strapped to the hood of his own car.
I don't know why this match started with a collar elbow tie-up and then proceeded to go 18 more minutes. This card needed a first round finish, and this was the match to do it in.
Mm-hmm.
And instead, we got 18 minutes of kind of the same match structure that we saw for most of the show.
Right.
So, I'm not going to blame them, but at the same time, somebody there has to be smart enough to be like, we're in the entertainment business too. Kind of need something different here.
Right. It's tough, man. And like, I completely agree with you. If we had more snacks at the house, this would have been a snack run match. If I had to go potty, it'd have been a bathroom match. If I wasn't worried about waking up my lovable niece, I'd have been doing something else around the house. But instead, it was a captive audience, and I got run into this, and I was just hoping that it was going to be expedient, but it was not, and it is to the detriment of the show proper. It really does hurt the show. Especially considering that like the TNT title is the title flop title.
Yeah.
Like 20 different title changes on the TNT title since its inception. So like, what would it have hurt if Danny Garcia would have washed him in 5 minutes?
Nothing.
Like, let Jet Perry get up early. Do the thing with Daddy Magic where Daddy Magic and Jungle Jack Perry look at each other and they do the standoff. And, like, Danny Garcia sees it. But Danny goes out there and, like, stops Jack. And then you turn the switch on and then you get Red Death. Instead, we got 50-50.
Yeah.
For 18 minutes for him to lock on the Dragon Slayer. And, cool. Middle of the ring, you got your match. You got your win. They made the right call. But I think they went the wrong way to do the right thing.
Yeah.
And that hurts a lot for this. So we're in complete alignment. This is must skip too. The There are other matches that I would possibly give a must skip to, but they're not bad. But I'm not going to talk about them. They're in that middle ground where it's just like, it's neither must watch or must skip. And to me, that is the other two matches that you directly compared this match to as far as structure goes. And that's Ospreay Fletcher, and that's Takeshita Ricochet.
Mm.
There's nothing wrong with Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher. There's nothing wrong with Konosuke Takeshita and Ricochet. There is a problem with the three of those matches being back to back to back.
Yep.
And it was cool when I saw it with Ospreay and Fletcher. It was completely not awesome seeing Garcia and Perry do it. And then you triple down and you give me Takeshita and Ricochet. Like, tough. And like, it's a good spot for Ricochet and Takeshita. I'm glad that they got showcased on the pay-per-view. But I think this card was close to the mark of being a typical AEW card, of being just great hitters across the board. But I think Full Gear is going to fall into that category of just being lesser than because of the card structure. Right?
Yeah.
There's 9 matches on the card and 1 tag match, and you open with the tag match.
Mm-hmm.
So we get 8 singles matches in a row and only 1 women's match, and that's the 3rd match on the card.
Yeah.
Like, you got to give me, like, wrestling nowadays, you have to give variety, right? It is a variety show. And yes, we had the Mina and Mina Mariah segment, but it was kind of short and felt, I don't know, I may be talking out of turn, but didn't that happen right after, wasn't that right after Ospreay Fletcher? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it was meant to kind of palate cleanse that match, with our conquering hero being downed by the new king, the Protostar. But instead it just was like, it didn't reset any momentum. It didn't reset anything for the next half of the card. I think it kind of, the card was listless until we get to the next must-see thing, which is Big Bob and Swerve.
Yeah.
Right? But it's tough. But I will go back to the positives. And Big Bob and Swerve, man. Black excellence all there. Swerve is keeping his thumb on the culture, doing his Tyler the Creator tribute gear. Now that Tyler's got a new album out. It also kind of looked Street Profits inspired. And I know the Street Profits do a lot of like drum major looking gear, Michael Jackson inspired gear. But man, this was a great showing for Big Bob. He needed this to start the Hurt Syndicate off on the right foot. And it doesn't hurt Swerve at all either. As we see later on in the night, sometimes 1 versus the numbers is not good enough. Sometimes you need more to account for more. And
yeah, and
good.
You need your stars to be vulnerable. Like, that adds to Swerve, is that he can be beaten. He can be beaten, whether you sucker him in because he goes too far, like what happened with Brian, or you're just bigger, faster, stronger, like Big Bob.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Swerve can be gotten. And It's hard to do it, but it's not Super Cena.
Yeah, it's like you have to play 2 different games at the same time against Swerve. You have to weather the storm and find a way to break through the storm.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's going to keep coming at you. You either have to like fight through it with force, you have to fight through it with like mental fortitude. Because if Swerve can break you down mentally, the game's half over.
All right, he's got you.
Yeah. But I'm here for it. I missed the press conference, but I did hear that MVP did an award-winning job on the press conference, just lambasting folks. So I will definitely give that a watch. But
yeah, so I saw a couple clips of it. It was good energy, and he bullied a couple people who deserved it.
Heck yeah. Bring bullying back in wrestling in 2025. We need some hurt feelings in 2025. But what do you have?
Do you have any more must skip?
No, because I've
only got one more must watch.
I don't think there's anything else that's must skip. Like, there's things probably like you could write home, like you don't have to write home about. Like, I thought Mercedes and Chris Statlander was good. I don't think it was must watch, but it's not skippable.
Mm-hmm.
What was this? The 4-way tag was fine. It was the right decision, but again, the wrong way to go about it because now you've just axed 3 of your tag team acts.
Mm-hmm.
All to the voice of Private Party, and the last thing we need is another super team or another like super big name team that's unbeatable to win the titles again.
Yep.
Like, we don't need an FTR winning the titles. We don't need a Young Bucks winning the titles. We did need like an Outrunners. Or even like any of those 3 teams, honestly. Like even the Kings of the Black Throne, like.
Yeah, I thought it would have been a good decision to put the title on them.
But instead,
that's what I was kind of pulling for.
But instead, we didn't get it, so we didn't get it, and I can't complain about it. What was the second match on the show?
That was MJF and Roddy Strong.
That might be must skip. That might be must skip because it's soulless.
Mm-hmm.
Like, X's and O's, the match is great. Like, I wouldn't say great, but the match is solid, right? X's and O's technically there. But it's a soulless match. And the after-match stuff is utterly confusing. And services no one. To me, at least. Where you've got Kyle O'Reilly, who's not a part of the Undisputed Kingdom, not a part of MJF and his group, coming in, and like, the one thing I will say about the aftermatch that I enjoy was the fact that like, Kyle put Adam in his place and was like, hey, you're focused on that guy. Your brother is hurting on the ground. So which is it? If you want retribution, go get your retribution. But if you care about your friends, be here. Right? And it goes along with Kyle Fletcher showing up later on in the night, helping with the main event.
Kyle O'Reilly.
That's right. That's it, Kyle Fletcher.
Yeah.
Wrong guy. Cooler Kyle. I know he doesn't have a crown or anything, but sheesh. But yeah, MJF, Roderick Strong, mileage may vary, skippable. You've seen one MJF match, you've seen them all. This is playbook, standard fare, kind of just like a walkthrough.
I won't argue there. That leaves just the main event as must watch.
Yeah, man.
Almost went shoot. Main event OC is one of my favorite things in wrestling. And And this version of John Moxley is just a different kind of monster. And I thought the intensity that these two had matched and probably even outdid their first meeting and their second meeting. Right. I really enjoyed the dynamics here. I liked that they saved the red for this match. You know, sometimes less is more. I thought it meant a little bit more that Orange got busted open, and it's, you know, he's not a guy that we usually see get busted open too often. I think it's mostly just been the Anarchy in the arena matches, or the Stadium Stampede, or whenever he wrestles Mox.
Right.
But man, yeah, this was dope. It made me believe. They had a beautiful sequence where you have all these run-ins, and Orange ends up with the briefcase, and he nails Moxley, and the cover happens, and you
played a very dangerous game, and you threw your phone in the air, and you almost woke up the whole house dropping that phone on the floor. Oh my goodness.
Oh man. I jumped. I thought he had it.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, we get to the finish, and I thought the finish was really, really good. Like, not just with how they got there and with Moxley going over, but like all the after the match stuff and how it connected everybody's story together. I'm like, okay, like all these featured guys that are now being like woven into the story, you're seeing how they connect. I thought that was brilliant.
Right. The best analogy I had to what John Moxley looked like, being covered in Orange Cassidy's blood, is he looked like Mick Foley as Mankind in the Chef Boyardee overstuffed beef ravioli commercial. He just had like red on his beard, red on his chest, his like side flank. He was just like, he had splotches of tomato sauce all over him, and like it was so good. The numbers game from the Death Riders ride strong. You have to count heads with them, because now they're starting to play the separation game. And it's like, okay, well, we had Claudio and Pac, and here's Marina, and kudos, we finally get to see Willow. Willow now coming and equalizing for Marina, but then you lose sight of Wheeler. And now you have to keep all 5 pieces of the puzzle on a swivel. You gotta put numbers on heads if you're gonna try to equalize and neutralize the game. Which makes me think that maybe the Death Riders aren't done, right? What's to say you don't add a piece or two? I'm not saying they will, but like if you're playing the coconut game and you're trying to hide the marble underneath the coconut shells, eventually people are going to get wise to the game. So you got to rig it, and you got to put another shell on the table, and you got to flip it around some more. Give them a new truck, right? So, I loved the match too. I thought it was super great. I love what they were doing. I love the swing that they took with the post-match stuff, because they started to blur the lines of like what you would want to happen, right? So Christian comes out, Hangman comes out, and you don't know what side Hangman's going to be on. So you think, what is Hangman going to join the Death Riders?
Yeah.
And then he takes out Wheeler. And then you get a stare down with Mox and Hangman. And you're like, oh, here we go. And then here comes Christian Cage. Christian Cage hits the kill switch. and teases a cash in. So you're like, okay, the people I hate are now the people I love because they're going to rid us of power-hungry Jon Moxley. And then here comes King Switch. And Switchblade stops the cash-in. And you love it because you're like, he's got some beef with Christian. But you're like, but dog, let the cash-in finish. And so it's like, those who you love, you now hate due to circumstance. And those who you hate, you love because of circumstance.
Mm-hmm.
And it clouds everything, right? Where personal vendettas get in the way of the big purpose.
The bigger picture, yeah.
Yes. And that's kind of where the Death Riders are aligned. And AEW as a whole is divided. And until AEW gets on the same page, Mox is going to be able to do whatever he wants. Mox is in control of the board. And like, yes, we have an Orange Cassidy who's willing to stand up and fight by himself.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get to the end of the night with the full-on car accident from the maniac Darby Allin. And now he's going to fight them by himself. And it's like, we as the viewer can see the cards on the table. We see everything that's going on. And and I think part of it too is like, we as the fan, we've lived through the NWO. We've lived through invasion type angles.
Mm-hmm.
Or hostile takeovers. Or things like that, right? So we know that like the game plan is shut the power hungry group out as soon as possible. Because if you don't, they're just going to get stronger to eventually the point where you have to like do something drastic to equalize. But they're in the thick of it. They don't see the picture, the full picture. They see the piece of the forest that they're in. And even though Darby Allin and Orange Cassidy are in the same forest, they are on two different sides. They see trees, but they're not seeing the same tree line. And it all looks the same because you're in the jungle. But really, you're not. You're on an island, you're isolated, and you have to figure your way out. And so I'm curious to see how my fun part now is how long is it going to take for AEW to realize this? Not AEW the promotion, AEW the wrestlers.
Mm.
How long until friend and foe meet in the middle and go, we have to put our ish aside for a day. And if we can work together for one day, we can wipe this out. No problem. The issue is that we can't see eye to eye for longer than a minute. And that's when it's within that 60-second window that they completely break us down.
Yeah. Or not having somebody else jump in like we got with Christian and Hangman and Switchblade, which, you know, that whole piece of business I thought was really good because it's like, okay, you set up the next challenger for Moxley in Switchblade, which he said he was going after Christian and Hangman before he gets to the title. Gone through him. Time to get to the title. Time to get his match. And he can have his match, and he's been booked pretty well. So if he eats a loss to Moxley, then he loses, and that's okay.
See, to me now, the next challenger isn't Switchblade. To me,
So you think it's Darby?
no, I think it's a 4-way.
Oh, okay.
I think it's Mox, Switch, Hangman, and Christian at World's End.
Okay.
Because Switch and Hangman still have beef. Christian's got beef with Hangman, or Christian's got beef with Switch. Switch has beef with Mox. Mox has beef with Hangman. Like, it's so interconnected.
I don't hate it. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, it's another way for Mox to slither through, right? You think as AEW you're doing the right thing. You're trying to put Mox in unwinnable positions. Put 3 of your strongest competitors up against him.
But it goes back to Jon Moxley don't lose.
John don't lose in life. I mean, a man who does cocaine before going to the library is a man you just can't beat. And there's no allegedly about it. He talks about it in his book. Like, he said that. It's like, they just give these books away for free? It's crazy. And so, like, I love what they're doing. It's shades of gray. It's nuanced. And I'm ready to see more. Like, I'm very curious what type. I don't think AEW is going to try anything as it relates to, like, the Continental Classic run-up.
Mm-hmm.
But Fight for the Fallen, January 1st, they're already trying to hype it up as the simulcast of all simulcasts. I expect something crazy January 1st.
Well, speaking of the Continental Classic, Mr. Tim, we get to do some scooping and booping.
What?
Because
no way.
The brackets, the leagues, the blocks have been announced.
I don't know this.
I will go ahead.
I don't want to look. I want you to tell me.
I'm going to lead us off with the Blue League.
Okay. Is it 6 and 6?
1, 2, 3, and yes, it is 6 and 6.
Okay.
We have the Blue and Gold League.
I'm guessing Okada is on the Gold League because he is the champion.
No, Okada is in the Blue League.
Okay. So, I'm going to try to guess who is on each league.
Okay.
Okay. I will ask a leading question first. Are there any other singles champions in either league?
Yes.
Okay. So, is Big Tom in the Continental Classic?
No.
Then it's already a failure. I never. Okay. Is Brody King back in?
Yes, he is. He's in the Gold League.
He's on the Gold League. Okay. Is any of the people we just mentioned involved in the world title picture in the Continental Classic?
Yes.
Is Switchblade Jay White in the Continental Classic?
No.
Hangman?
No.
Christian?
No.
Darby?
Yes. Darby Allin is in the Gold League.
So Darby and Brody again set to face off in another who's gonna murder who first match. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any Death Rider representation?
Yes.
Claudio?
Yes, in the Gold League.
Oh! Is Pac in it?
Pac is... Double check here. Pac is not in it.
Okay. So I've got 3 in the gold and 1 in the blue.
Yes.
Okay. Is Mark Briscoe back in the Continental Classic?
Yes, he is back in the Blue League.
Okay. I'm trying to remember who all was in the Continental Classic from last year, who they would bring back. I don't believe Jay Lethal's in it.
No, Jay Lethal is not in it.
Okay. Danny Garcia's not in it.
Danny Garcia is in it. He is the other champion.
I asked you about singles
You asked me if there was
champions.
Yes, and I said
I thought
yes.
you said no.
No, I said yes.
Okay. Then Danny Garcia. Wow, I don't like
Danny
that
Garcia is in the Blue League.
Okay. So Danny, Mark, and Okada in the blue, Claudio, Darby, and Brody in the gold.
Yes.
Is
You have 3 to go.
Is Ricochet in the Continental Classic?
He is in the Gold League.
Okay. Is Kyle Fletcher in the Continental Classic?
In the Blue League.
So I got another gold and another blue? Or 2 blues?
You got a gold and a blue.
Okay, so now just 2 of each. Okay.
Yep.
There's no more singles champions?
No more singles champs.
Okay. Is Max Caster?
No.
Okay. Is there anyone else from the last version of the Continental Classic?
No.
Okay, 4 new people.
Yes.
Is Shelton Benjamin in the Continental Classic?
In the Blue League.
Yes! Okay. So I'm 1 blue, 2 golds.
Correct.
Is Big Bill in the Continental Classic?
Big Bill is not in the Continental Classic.
Okay. Okay, we've already got a member of the Callis family. We've got a member of the Death Riders. We've got... Is Powerhouse Hobbs in the Continental Classic?
He is not.
Okay.
You're close with that line of thinking, though.
Of Powerhouse Hobbs.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
You were going down by like stables. Stables and allegiances. You're getting warmer.
Don't tell me I'm going... I don't want the other guy in that. Is Mark Davis in the Continental Classic?
Nope, but you're getting warmer.
I don't want Will Ospreay in the Continental Classic.
In the Gold League.
Okay, so the finals is Okada versus Will Ospreay. Got it. So
yep, definitely looks that way.
Yeah, so the Gold League is now, or the Blue League is settled.
No, you have 1 more in the blue and 1 more in the gold.
Okay.
And funny enough, they are each at the bottom of the bracket or listing of each league.
Would you consider them to be the worst of the groupings?
I do not expect either of these men to combine for more than 1.5 win.
Okay. All right. Are they both
maybe?
Are they both singles competitors?
Yes, but it is not uncommon to see them in tag matches.
Okay, that's fair. That is fun and fair and fine. Is the Beast Mortos in the Continental Classic?
That is the final member of the Blue League.
Frank Mortos, baby, in the Continental Classic.
We are getting Shelton Benjamin versus the Beast Mortos in a beef off.
We're getting Will Ospreay in the Beast Mortos. Right?
Not necessarily. Nope.
Oh, I thought
Ospreay's
Will
in the Gold League.
Okay. Ospreay's in the Gold League. Shelton's in the Blue League?
Yes.
And So we're gonna get guaranteed Shelton Benjamin Kazuchika Okada.
Yes, we are.
All right, so I need one more gold wrestler. Okay.
One more gold wrestler.
Was he on the Full Gear card?
No, but he made an appearance on the show.
Okay. Interesting. Made an appearance. Cool Kyle?
Nope.
Okay. Not Cool Kyle. I'm trying to think of everybody who did run-ins. We already said
was
Darby,
not a running guy.
but he made an appearance.
Yes, but was not a run-in.
So the only person who made an appearance that I remember that wasn't like a run-in guy is Daddy Magic.
Not Daddy Magic. Huh? You some kind of pervert? Huh?
Tall Paul was a pre-show guy.
Correct. Not Tall Paul.
So who else? What am I missing?
They are a member of a group.
They are a member of a group. A conglomeration?
No.
Okay.
They are a babyface act.
And they showed up. Is the Juice?
Juice Robinson is the final member of the Gold League.
Okay, so to actually Continental Classic 2024. So just so everybody it is coherently stated on the podcast. The Blue League is, I will read the Blue League and you can read the Gold League. The Blue League is Continental Champion Kazuchika Okada, Kyle Fletcher, Daniel Garcia, the Beast Mortos, Mark Briscoe, and Shelton Benjamin. Oh boy.
And in the Gold League, Darby Allin, Claudio Castagnoli, Will Ospreay, Ricochet, Big Brody King, and Juice Robinson.
Dog, man. Continental Classic is thick.
Restoring the feeling. I'm excited.
Jeez. After all 6 people that face each other, the top 2 based on points will have a semifinal. So let's prognosticate. Who were the top 2 in both divisions? And who is the finals and who's winning?
I think we're getting Okada in the Blue League taking on
I already have the answer for the Blue League. That's easy.
I think it's Okada versus Kyle Fletcher, maybe?
It's going to be Kyle Garcia. It's got to be Kyle Fletcher.
I say that, but then the dude always loses. The dude's a loser.
He just beat Will Ospreay.
I know. It's like the one win he's ever gotten, though.
And look, sometimes all you need is one win, and then you just go on a run. And it's not like he beat a tomato can. He beat like the best wrestler in AEW.
Beat Punisher Goat. Well,
Punny Goat.
Gold League. Will Ospreay.
Yep.
I think it's Ospreay Claudio.
I think it's Ospreay Claudio too. I can't discredit Darbo. And I can't discredit Brody King. Like I don't think Brody King's going to go another Continental Classic not having a bunch of wins.
I mean, what do you have? 2? Did you have 2 last time?
But I think he went like 0-4 at the start.
No, I think he started hot and then he trailed off.
Oh, that's right. Okay, that's okay.
Yeah, I think he picked up 4 and then he went like 3 the rest of the way or something like that. But it's good, man. It's good. Big Tone has done it again. The feeling is restored. I'm excited for the Continental Classic. Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. Pumped, jacked, amped. Let's wrap up our viewers' choice segment of the pod. Tim, do you have an MVP of the evening?
I do.
Oh, excuse me. Didn't get to the mute button.
My MVP is the Switchblade.
All right, that's high praise. I'm not mad at it. He had a big night. Great match, big win. One of the last people standing tall end of the night. Got taken down by the big bads. My MVP of the night, I'm going to give it to Orange Cassidy. He was the biggest babyface on the show. The company has kind of taken a hit at babyface over the last couple months. He is somebody that everybody is behind. It's very hard to do in 2024 TV wrestling. And, man, he got me. He got me to believe. So I'm going to give it to OC.
Nice. Can't be wrong. There's no such thing as a wrong thing here. We're excited. We're happy about it. And man, Continental Classic now. That Continental Classic news has just jacked me up, baby. I'm ready. Dynamite's gonna be sick. But let us know what you guys thought about Full Gear 2. Whether it's social media or through the Discord, man, it's good. So next up on our list is talking about something that jazzed us up during Full Gear as well, but it's not AEW related. And that is Ricky Starks showing up at GCW. And the promo he cuts, just kind of laying things out. I guess I'll ask you, does it seem like Ricky's done with AEW? Or do you think that this is a possibility that AEW doesn't have anything for Ricky, so they're letting him go out and pseudo be against AEW? Or is this the setup run up tour for a 2025 Drew McIntyre of dude who gets disenfranchised from where he's working, goes and makes a bigger name for himself out in what's left of the indies, and then comes back home?
Yeah, I hope it's the latter. I really hope that if Ricky Starks is set free or whatever the condition is that he's taking these indie bookings, I hope that he gets as red hot as possible. I think Ricky Starks is a walking bag of money. He can talk. He looks the part. He is the part. He put a live mic in his hands, and his power. It is always electric. If you have any questions about his in-ring work, I mean, I think his matches with Bryan, my favorite Bryan matches in AEW. I love those matches. The dude can entertain. He can wrestle. He can work. He can fight. Ricky Starks is it. I love absolute Ricky Starks. So I hope he goes on an indie run. I hope he uses the indies to prove his worth, to raise his stock, to the point where it doesn't matter where he re-debuts, because he has made such a name for himself in whatever high-end indie is in your area. Ricky Starks has made a stop or two there. And if you're a wrestling fan, you've come on out to see him. So that does mean he's going to have to work GCW. We've seen him hit some other places in the Midwest. But man, I really want that for Ricky Starks. I think the dude's money. Is walking to WWE and be a main eventer money. You bring him in against Cody or with Cody. I don't see why not. Dude can talk. I think the dude can make you believe. Just give him a microphone. I think he's a dude. And if he gets so red hot that AEW is like, oh, wait a second. Let's bring you back home. Now we've got something for you. Well, I mean, he was talking about, and again, it's a wrestling promo, so take everything with a grain of salt, but talking about not being frozen out of his contract, it's got to make you think that bad boy's got an end date with the light at the end of the tunnel. You would think. A lot of speculation about when that is. Oh, it's in January, it's in whatever. But yeah, that dude's a free agent. I hope he gets a dump truck full of money, and more important than that, or with that, I hope he gets all of the opportunity, because it's only going to take one, and Ricky Starks is going to knock it out of the park.
For sure, right? Like I'm super excited. I hate that the place he's going is GCW, but in the relative landscape of things, GCW is the next biggest place to go. Unfortunately for TNA, while TNA is bigger in certain lights, it is a perceived step backwards, I think. And GCW at least is... GCW feels like it, even though it is definitely in the pocket of WWE, it feels different than like if you would have went to TNA. Right. So I'm here for Ricky Starks, man. Starkman Jones needs some help. He needs the good shot in the arm to get back into the swing of things. And if this is it, man. I'm here for it. I'm happy. Is it going to make me buy a GCW card in 2 weeks? I don't know. Am I going to watch the match? Somebody flips me a link, maybe. But I'll be in. I'll be following it. When Ricky Starks pops, I have everything but a Google alert set up for Ricky Starks at this point. So I'm excited. I'm ready to see where it goes, and I'm ready to see where it lands. If I'm being honest, I don't want Ricky Starks anywhere near the WWE. I don't. I think that Ricky Starks being along the same lines of like a Swerve, when AEW will succeed the most is when they have their most unique stars that can battle WWE or compete against what WWE gives you. And I think Ricky is just enough. While he has very WWE qualities about him, I think he has just enough not WWE that makes him intriguing.
Yeah.
And that's what I want more. I want more of what makes him different than for him to go to WWE and just be more of what makes him the same as everyone else. Because they won't let him embrace the different. They will bring him in because he is like Cody, like The Rock, like this, that, and the other guy, instead of being inspired by them and shifting.
Yeah, if he can take this indie run and he can finalize the Ricky Starks package, whatever that is, if it needs any finishing touches, again, I'm not saying it does.
I think it needs a little maybe a little polish, maybe some spot checks.
But if he's looking to add anything or take anything away, put the finishing touches on anything, whatever, I hope he does it in this indie run, and whoever comes calling, and if he decides to go, that he has proven that it is so successful and there's enough proof of concept that when you get Ricky Starks in, you don't need to change a thing. That is the finished product.
Hit him with the pose.
Hit him with the pose.
Send him on the way.
Yeah.
Because, like, right now for me, Ricky Starks looks to be like a slam dunk for the Syndicate.
Yeah, but he's also like, man.
Which sucks because, like, that makes him like the fourth guy in that group.
He's the fourth guy, and you expect the fourth guy to be the fourth man down, but it's like you put Ricky Starks in that group. That's his group now.
But you tell that to the idea man, Big Bob. Big Bob's
got some MVP.
Big Bob's got some ideas, and one of them ain't. This is absolute Ricky Starks' group. He's got another thing coming. But golly, man, it's so good.
Yeah.
The thought bubbles are out there. It's very exciting to think about and to kind of forecast out what's next for Ricky Starks. But I want to enjoy this run he's on now of being unpredictable and popping up in places where you don't really expect him. That's the stuff I like. So, what else do we have to talk about? Oh, yes.
Oh,
WarGames.
Yeah.
And WWE pulling a little tricksy trick on all of us, huh?
Yeah, we all thought that Seth Rollins was going to be the fifth man. But never mind all that. We get the return of the wise man on SmackDown, and he brought Mr. Phil with him.
Uncle Phil.
I know, WWE's for babies, but it was a good piece of connective business. From Punk coming back on SmackDown in Chicago, a little bit with Heyman, where Heyman's in distress. Heyman asking him, "Can you take me with you?" It was a good piece of business, and it leaves more questions than answers, which I think is always good wrestling. Like what happens after Survivor Series? Does Heyman go with Mr. Phil? Does Heyman stay with the Bloodline? Does Heyman fade away? Does Roman take this as disrespect? Does this lead to something with Roman and Phil? Punk kind of took what was presumed to be Seth Rollins' spot, going up against Rollins' current arch rival, Bonza Reed. So, like, you know, I think the end game for WrestleMania is Punk and Rollins. Probably no title involved, no title needed. I think that's where that's been heading since last year, since last Survivor Series. And I think this adds just a little bit more fuel to the fire. Now you might say, well, that seems too in the weeds for a WWE thing. And I get it. But, you know, somebody paying attention loosely, somebody checking out the product every now and then, but still knowing what's going on. I think that's a pretty cool beat to add to the eventual feud between Rollins and Punk. So, yeah, man, Punk actually coming back. Huge pop, taping his fists, going in there, going into WarGames, doing it as a favor to Heyman. I think it's pretty dope. It got me excited for WarGames.
Yeah, and the WWE, the WWE truthers out there, and I'm isolating ourselves from that, but there's a contingency of people who are like, look at what Paul Heyman was wearing. And the outfit he was wearing is very reminiscent of Solo Sikoa's look, of the black suit with the red shirt underneath and the red kerchief in the pocket. Like it's almost a 1-to-1 carbon copy of Solo's look.
Right.
So then it's like, is Paul with Solo?
But to me, I look at that and I'm like, it's hard to cheer somebody wearing a suit.
Right. Like a full suit.
Yeah.
It's weird though, because it kind of right now it kind of looks like Paul Heyman looks like when Paul Bearer re-debuted with Kane in the black with the red and the clean shaven face.
Well, it's the fat man.
Well. Like, you're going to hell. And the big patch on his the big burn patch on his face.
Tell him Undertaker.
But I'm here for it. I like in both major promotions, whether it is for you or not, they are providing us with content that can allow you to ask a few questions while getting a couple of things answered at the same time.
Yeah, man. Like, what it looks like is different for both, but like, I don't know, like, cool stuff is cool stuff and good stuff is good stuff.
Right.
I liked it.
And of course, they also they have now injured out Jade Cargill from the women's WarGames side. That was done on SmackDown as well. Nothing formally announced for who the new fifth person is, but it's out there. If you know, you know. I think it may be for the best that Jade Cargill's not in it. But again, more questions to be asked of who done it, right? And does Jade bounce back from this? And if so, is the person or people who injured her out, is it going to make for more captivating, better television when Jade is on that comeback and that get back than just it being a throwaway?
I think on top of the bigger point of needing to get Jade out of that match, it gives Jade something to sink her teeth into. Like, here's a storyline, here's a reason for you to wrestle with like some actual character motivation. How do you do with it? Because like, that's a big test as like a pro wrestler. Like, all right, moves, cool. You can remember and not mess something up. Okay, good for you. Like, can you work different? Can you move different? Can you strike different? Can you think different? Can you put yourself in a different headspace as a character when you've had these different things happen to you? What does Jade Cargill look like when she has been brutally attacked backstage? Maybe by one, maybe by two people. But like, what does that look like? Who is that person? Yes, just had a big parlay hit. Thank you very much. Cooper Kupp garbage time touchdown. Whew. But there's the kind of test that Jade and a lot of other people on the roster need to face. Because I think that's when you determine, okay, do I got a dude here or what? You can produce anybody out of a factory to do moves. But like,
indeed. Can
you actually wrestle and work with some passion and make people believe and get sucked into a story? So hope the best for her, because she's an 8x10 world champ. She's had one of the coolest looks of all time. But she's been in WWE for a little bit and she needs something to sink her teeth into.
Indeed she does. And we'll get there.
And I haven't seen anything official, but if this means Miss Pam on the pay-per-view, then by any means necessary.
That's right. I'll take it. Fist in the air. Anything else that we didn't cover? I'm just trying to think.
I don't think so, man. Short show, heavy show, thick
Heavy
show.
show, longer than last week, so we're giving you something more to sink your teeth into. Before we get into our plugs, this is a plug about a plug. We will be dropping one of our bonus episodes, our make goods from PTO land, this Thursday for Thanksgiving.
Ooh.
So I will let you know now. It is not a formal Final Wrestling place, but we are taking a bit of a swing at a new concept it's not a new concept out there, but it's new for us, and we're excited to be there. So this Thursday, or the Thursday coming up, be on the lookout for myself and Marcus and Brett from We Need Wrestling to carve it up for about an hour or so and present one of our bonus episodes, our make goods for the March to 300, because it has to happen on a set day or I'm going to just lose it and not have my way. Okay? It's too perfect. We have to do it. So check us out on Thursday for episode 278 of Final Wrestling Place. I hope you guys enjoy it. And if you do, we will definitely do more. We do have another one of those bonus episodes lined up in the shoot to make good as well. Release date undetermined. But with all of that, Marcus, did you buy anything this week?
I went ahead. I had to buy some new drawers because being thick-thighed, part of the burden of that is you are prone to your garments giving out.
Marcus, we efficiently like to refer to this as chub rub.
I've never experienced any chub rubbing. It's just the threads giving out.
Dog, it's chub rub. You're rubbing them things together.
No, there's no rub.
So the threads are just giving out, not because your thighs are touching at a vigorous rate?
Correct.
I don't believe you. You're trying to justify you don't want to be called chub, is what you're trying to say.
I've never experienced chub rub, chafing, or anything of the sort.
I didn't say chafing. I said your clothes are being impacted by chub rub, not your body.
No, I'm letting you know chub rub is not what's happening.
Okay.
So
where is the threads? Where are the threads breaking down?
Inside the thigh.
Where chub rub occurs.
It might be where chub rub occurs, but that is not the case.
Okay. Let Marcus know he's wrong in the Discord.
What's happening is my thighs are too big for the size that I have.
Uh-huh.
And so they explode.
Over time, as you wear them and as you walk. Or run, or do any sort of activities.
Not much time. Not a lot of time. Anyways, I had to go out and buy some new ones from Under Armour and also a new pair of basketball shorts too.
Ooh.
Had to throw them in. So yeah, I'm like, when was the last time I got a new pair of shorts? I don't know. So I had a new pair of shorts in. I was like down a pair of shorts from when I was sick. Not that like anything happened in them, but I was just like, now these belong to the streets now. Like this is just trash. This shit, like I didn't want anything that I was like that sick in. And I was like, I just want to put this 72-hour window behind me. Yeah.
There you go. So, I'm fine with that.
Shirt, socks, everything. Just I had to strip it and send it off to the dump.
We just gotta boot up your fireplace for the first time and just ceremoniously burn that gear and send it on its merry way.
Figure out how to work that.
Before you do, you better call somebody to check your flu, because the last thing you want to do is smoke yourself out. Or is your fireplace like a legit fireplace, or is it electric?
It's electric.
Boogie woogie woogie. So there's probably.
But it still does have to be cleaned.
Okay, but I guess there's no flue. Still. There's no flue.
I don't know.
I don't know either. If you know, I just own a home. I don't know. If you know how electric fireplaces work that look like real fireplaces, let us know. But I didn't buy anything. Collapsible segment. We will be back on Thanksgiving Day for more fun. But until then, soon to be named network.tumblr.com at your home for this and so many other podcasts, including but not limited to our wrestling offerings of At Odds with Wrestling with Joe and Adam and We Need Wrestling with DJ and Brett. Listen to the annual crossover event with We Need At Odds for fun. Questions from Marcus and I on that episode, so it's good. Check out everything on the Soon to Be Named Network. If you're interested in some hot sauces, talk to DJ and Brett from Wings on Wings. Get yourself a bottle of Terminal Heat. $10 plus shipping and handling from them. Reach out to wingsonwingspodcast@gmail.com for more. Other than that, if you want to follow us on social media, you can. At the Wrestling Speakeasy for Marcus, if you know, you know. At TNM, or at Not the Toolman for me. TNM shows on Blue Sky and Twitter. At Final Wrestling Place on Instagram. And just follow us wherever you can. Listen, spread the word, share the word. Everything's fun. Bird's the word. That sort of thing. If we don't talk to you again, we hope you guys have a fun, safe Thanksgiving. Enjoy your family. Kiss your homies. Tell somebody you love them. We will be back for a formal Final Wrestling Place next week, but check out the special on Thanksgiving for us. But Marcus, all that's left right now is to tell the people goodbye.
Bye, boys.